Tucker Carlson has done it again. All right, so Tucker Carlson had an interview with Phil Murphy, the governor of New Jersey. If you have not seen the interview with Phil Murphy and Tucker Carlson, I would oblige that you do so now. I'm going to put the clip, the video clip, in the description below, okay? Because this interview was really the epitome of all what's going on around us today. And I would ask that you take a look at that video. All right, so what was in the video? What was in the video? Tucker Carlson asked Phil Murphy about two things. One, liquor stores and churches. Liquor stores and churches. Why would you allow for liquor stores to be open, but to close the doors on churches? That was the question. Now, one thing about me is I have no qualms, or I have no dog in the fight on whether or not they should keep liquor stores open or not. CVS or whatever, Walgreens, all these things need to be open. I say open them up. But liquor stores and closing the churches, that should ring some bells. So what happened is, he asks him, why would you not leave the churches open, but continue to move forward with keeping the liquor stores open? And this is what he says. He said, the liquor stores need to be open because there are many who have mental issues that would need the, assistance of liquor to help them through this pandemic. I'm sorry. Wait, what?
Let me ask you about the specific measures you just referred to. Now, large gatherings are banned, but liquor stores are deemed an essential service. Why? On the basis of what scientific evidence did you decide that?
We relied on a whole lot of input, reasonable input from recovery coaches, addiction coaches, and they cautioned us if we were to shutter those stores down, we'd have unintended mental health and addiction prices to pay, unintended consequences. And so far, that's the route we've taken, and my guess is we'll continue to take that route.
They need to have the liquor help them through this pandemic. And what about people's faith?
So, but you have closed church services and synagogue services and arrested people for attempting to attend them. Did anyone say that maybe practicing your faith might be important to someone's mental health?
Listen, I think we've had a very good common ground with faith leaders of literally every faith who understand this. And by the way, whether it's a liquor store, a pharmacy, a supermarket, we expect folks to distance themselves from each other, to wear face coverings, etc.
Well, about that, we just didn't want to we wanted to make sure that nobody's gathering. We can't have 10 or more, we can't have 5 or more, so we might as well just shut down the church altogether. But don't you think that someone's faith can help them through this pandemic? Yeah, you can practice that at home. It's pretty much what the governor said.
Of course, but I don't want to be too persistent on this, but I think it's important. On what scientific basis did you decide that sitting in a church was much more dangerous than buying liquor in a liquor store? And why is buying liquor more important for the social fabric? I'm just trying to think. You're not the only governor who's done this, and I don't mean to pick on you, but I don't understand the reasoning. I don't want to think it had anything to do with tax revenues.
No, it does not have anything to do with tax revenues. Our revenues are so blown up, that would be a rounding error, trust me.
But all in all, you can come out your home, go to the brown package store or to the liquor store, get yourself a brown bag, bottle of scotch, come back home, don't know if you got the corona or not, and drink yourself to wherever. Now, I don't recommend anybody drinking alcohol because that right there is not really healthy for your life. And as of right now, for today, during what we're going through right now, I would say let's caution on the side of being healthy, right? If you're drinking alcohol and you have diabetes, well, that's not a good thing for you right now. It raises your blood sugar, and corona, COVID, you're more susceptible to falling into the trap of becoming sick. So why the alcohol? There's something about somebody who holds on to their faith, who goes to church, who goes to pray and say, Lord, let's take away this virus, take away this pandemic. But if your whole plan is to keep us sick and unhealthy, then there's no way out. If your plan is to keep us at home during this pandemic so that we can drink and take drugs, then there's no end in sight. Because the agenda or the plan must be a different one. It must be a different one. The other thing that I found very strange was during this interview was this. Tucker asked him about the Bill of Rights. You see, when you stop someone from going to church or you shut down the doors of a church due to the pandemic, that takes away the person's right to congregate. That takes a person's right to their religion. That means our Constitution has been stymied because of Corona. Now, I don't remember that we managed to stop or shut down or to put a hold on the U.S. Constitution due to COVID-19. And I guess maybe it was done secretly at the midnight hour when they were passing all of these national emergencies. That strips away a person's right.
So you made that decision, and as I noted before, 15 congregants at a synagogue in New Jersey were arrested and charged for being in a synagogue together. Now, the Bill of Rights, as you well know, protects Americans' right, enshrines their right to practice their religion as they see fit and to congregate together, to assemble peacefully. By what authority did you nullify the Bill of Rights in issuing this order? How do you have the power to do that?
That's above my pay grade, Tucker. So I wasn't thinking of the Bill of Rights when we did this. We went to first of all, we looked at the data and the science, and it says...
The question to the governor was, where did you get the right? Who gave you the right? Matter of fact, if I was Tucker, I would have asked him this question. Who gave you the audacity to put a hold on your citizens' constitutional right? Matter of fact, he asked a very good question. Did you even think about the Bill of Rights when you did what you did? And you know what? His answer was, I didn't think about it. Anyway, Tucker, this guy literally barely answered the question. He literally just skated around that bad boy. He roboted. He danced the whole way through around that question. I was sitting there trying to figure out, please answer the question.
Since you are an elected official, a leader in the government, an executive, how do you have the authority to order something that so clearly contravenes the Bill of Rights of the United States, the U.S. Constitution? Where do you get the authority to do that? Well,
here's the thing. We know we need to stay away from each other, number one. Number two, we do have broad authority within the state. And number three, we would never do that without coordinating, discussing, and hashing it out with the leaders, the variety of the leaders of the faith in New Jersey.
Okay, so he also had this to say in regards to whom he had consulted when going against the Bill of Rights. So Tucker Carlson asked him a few times, so who gave you that right? Who did you consult? Would you believe what he said? He consulted the priest. He consulted a Catholic priest for him to have the go-ahead to subvert, to disregard the Constitution. Wait, what?
You can't just, as the governor of a state, tell people who they can talk to when and where, because the Constitution of the United States, upon which all of this is based, prohibits you from doing that. So you clearly decided that you could do it. Did you consult an attorney about this? Did you, I mean, because this is a legal question as well as a medical one, isn't it?
I don't go to the men's room without consulting an attorney, so I guarantee you we did that. But I'll give you an example that was not related to the synagogue. I called up Cardinal Tobin, Cardinal Joe Tobin in Newark.
Well, I mean, this has legal implications, and you would go ahead and consult clergy? Like, when was the last time I consulted my pastor for me to get off on a murder charge? I mean, I'm not going to take him to law and have him run the case for me. This is a constitutional issue. Would you not consider consulting a constitutional attorney, a lawyer? The other thing that I found very, very interesting was this. There are a lot of others, in terms of doctors, who are now speaking out against this, I guess, not the pandemic, but more so towards of how it was handled. It seems to me that they gave us two doctors, Dr. Birx and Dr. Fauci. They gave us two doctors, right, that we happen to believe, right, that they are right about everything. And then we follow what they say. And by what they say, we are in a lockdown because of what they feel. They are the ones that are the experts, and they're the only experts in America. It just so happens that there are other virologists and other epidemiologists that are out there in the world, and they're out there in America. We have doctors and scientists all over America who are now coming out and saying, no, it doesn't work that way. It doesn't happen that way.
There's so much misinformation in the media. So why aren't they talking about what the Surgeon General put out? Because again, it's part and parcel of their agenda for the misinformation campaign. And they don't want you to know what the truth is. So there are civil rights that are being violated right now. A law enforcement officer, a retired law enforcement officer, was arrested for playing in a park with his daughter. They're arresting people in different places, removing them physically from the bus because they're not wearing a face mask. They're doing all sorts of, every fundamental right of an individual is being violated right now. I'm here to tell you, I have patients from 93 countries. I can tell you, I have testified in front of the U.S. Congress. Every person out there that's scientific oriented or a medical doctor, if you are part of this charade, if you are not speaking up and saying that this is violating every known precept of virology, of infectious disease, if you are not stepping up to the plate and saying something, you are part of the problem. If you're not part of the solution, by definition, you're part of the problem. So get your heads out and start talking the truth. Tell the people the truth, because this is a fundamental aspect. There's no virus bacteria that leaps 13 feet. They're now going around saying that social distancing of 6 feet is not sufficient, that we need to have 13 feet. What type of garbage is that? What kind of ludicrous garbage is that? There's no virus that leaps 13 freaking feet. There's only two things that spread from the air, three things that spread through the air: Ebola, tuberculosis, and I can't remember the third one. But there's only three things. Everything else is particulate. When you sneeze, there's a droplet, it's got viral load on it, it lands on something, then you come and touch that thing, you put it in your mouth, that's how it spreads. Social distancing is the most absurd thing. The only reason that you'd want to have social distancing is if you're trying to prep people's minds today for what's coming down the pipeline tomorrow.
America, when are we going to wake up? When are we going to stop for a second and start thinking for ourselves? When are we going to be like, you know what? I can't have mainstream media think for me and tell me exactly what, is not really happening.
The dangerous, edges here are that he's trying to undermine the media, trying to make up his own facts. And it could be that while unemployment and the economy worsens, he could have undermined the messaging so much that he can actually control exactly what people think. And that is our job. That is our job. That is our job.
When are we going to start asking questions? This is the right time to ask questions. This is the right time to write our senators, our representatives, our governors, our mayors, write these letters and ask the questions. Maybe you might not get any answers, but the point I'm trying to make is at least they will see that the people are doing something. Now we have, these folks who are coming out and protesting all across the nation. Michigan, South Carolina, Pennsylvania, all over the places, we have people coming out and they are now protesting, even in Huntsville, Alabama. Why? Because they are starting to realize that our constitutional right is being stripped from us. Little by little, chiseling away our constitutional rights. Are we going to allow for this to happen? Now, I get it, folks. There are many folks who won't, you probably might not agree with me, and that's okay. And that's okay. Bro, we got people, in New York who are dying. Look at the death rate in New York. Yeah, I understand. New York is a hot spot. 8-9 million people in New York living on top of each other. Chicago, LA, yes. That's almost to be expected. But is that everywhere? Is that the same for everywhere in the country? No, it's not. Is New York our staple to be like, well, we know we can't do anything until New York gets better? No, we should not. I don't think so. But we at least have to have a mindset and think for ourselves. Research for ourselves. Why are we not doing these things? Why are we going on social media and letting social media be our guide? Someone else's opinion become our fact. When did we start doing that? That's not something that we do, is it? Because if that's something that we do, then we have to rethink our whole way of thinking. All I'm saying is this. If we have a chance to get, healthy and to be healthy, let's take that chance. Now they're saying, you know what? It's probably better to be outside. Why? Well, because it's fresh air, it's sunlight, and, viruses dissipate more on the outside. But it seems to me that everybody wants to be on the inside. Question for you. If your child or your son or your daughter comes from school or from the daycare and they have a sniffly, runny nose, you take care of them, you do the best that you can, you make sure that they're well, and you put them to bed. 2 days later, it seems like mommy and daddy seems to be having their sniffles themselves. Where did they catch the cold? They caught it in their homes from the one who brought it in, right? But where did little Johnny get it from? He got it from the daycare. The daycare wasn't outside, it was inside. You are more susceptible to sicknesses in an enclosed area than you are in an open area. So when you're outside, you have a chance to at least move a little better. The air is blowing, wind is blowing, you know what I'm saying? These things can help when you're outside from being sick. But no, they want to keep everybody inside. No gatherings of 10 or more. Well, no gatherings of 5 or more. No gatherings of 1. You have a person who's jogging on the beach, get arrested. Somebody who's walking on a trail, get arrested. It just doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense to me at all. But now they're saying, well, yeah, it's probably better for us to be outside. And what's killing me is people are getting angry because they don't know the truth. All they know is what they see and what they've heard from mainstream media.
This is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
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 Another question. When was the last time that mainstream media has ever put out numbers that people are getting well? When have we heard, you know what, good news today, 17,000 people have walked out of the hospitals and are feeling better because, of the of our health care and what the nurses and doctors have done. We're not hearing those good news numbers. They're not posting those good news numbers as much as you possibly can on social media or mainstream media. But no, the moment you wake up every morning, another 700 people have died due to coronavirus. Another 300 people have died due to coronavirus. Every time you wake up and go through your day, there is death around your door. So what do? I'm not going outside at all. As a matter of fact, the governor should never open the state. Because all we're hearing is death, the perpetuation of a propaganda all day long. It's almost like being in 1945 Germany. State news TV. It's almost like being in North Korea. State news TV. All you're hearing is the same exact thing over and over and over and over again. You're hearing the same news, the same script over and over again. I mean, really?
Hi, I'm Fox San Antonio's Jessica Headley.
And I'm Ryan Wolf.
Our greatest responsibility is to serve our
Treasure Valley communities,
The El Paso, Las Cruces communities,
Eastern Iowa communities,
Mid-Michigan communities.
We are extremely proud of the quality, balanced journalism that CBS 4 News produces.
But we are concerned about troubling irresponsible, one-sided news stories plaguing our country.
The sharing of biased and false news has become all too common on social media. More alarming, some media outlets publish these same fake stories without checking facts first.
The sharing of biased and false
news has become all too common on social media.
More alarming, some media outlets publish these stories simply aren't true without checking facts first.
Unfortunately, some members of the media use their platforms to push their own personal bias and agenda to control exactly what people think. And this is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
We're not thinking like, wait a minute, let me go do some research and see for myself. Our Constitution is being stripped from us. The governor clearly said, yeah, you know what? We didn't really think about the Bill of Rights when we were doing this thing. We just kind of like, and went from our business. I think now is the time for us to start waking up. Now is the time for us to start digging in and saying, you know what? I'm going to do some research for myself. I'm not just going to let mainstream media tell me what's really going on, because it's not what's really going on. There is more to this. More to this. You got Dr. Fauci, you got the WHO, you got Dr. Birx, but there are plenty of the doctors who are talking about this and saying, this is not the way, this is all the way wrong. And you have Bill Gates. Bill Gates, the creator of Windows. Bill Gates. He can't keep Windows from having a virus, but he wants to make sure that everybody else in the human race is vaccinated. Now, does that make sense to you? He gets upset when Trump pulls away the funding from the WHO. That should tell you something. CDC, all of them in the same boat. And guess who funds them? Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. Billions of dollars. And he is a computer geek nerd who all of a sudden became a doctor for everyone in the world. and wants everyone to be vaccinated.
Bill Gates' father worked on the board for Planned Parenthood, and his mother worked on the corporate board for IBM, who Bill partnered with to create Microsoft. With no medical background, Bill Gates then went on to become the world's foremost pusher of vaccines and population control. Do you think this is all coincidence? The Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation funds the WHO, the NIH, the CDC, and the UN. And now he is saying that until we get mass vaccinations, we might never be able to gather in groups.
And which activities like mass gatherings may be, in a certain sense, more optional. And so until you're widely vaccinated, those may not come back at all.
The president's coronavirus response team are all pushing the Bill Gates vaccination agenda. Dr. Fauci is on the leadership council for the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. In January of 2017, Anthony Fauci told a crowd at Georgetown University that there would be a surprise outbreak during the Trump presidency.
There is no question that there will be a challenge to the coming administration in the arena of infectious diseases, both chronic infectious diseases in the sense of already ongoing disease, and we have certainly a large burden of that, but also there will be a surprise outbreak.
Deborah Birx is a board member for the Global Fund to Fight AIDS, Tuberculosis, and Malaria, which was founded by the Gates Foundation and known for millions of dollars of fraudulent misuse of funds. In October of 2019, Bill Gates sponsored Event 201, a simulation that estimated 65 million people killed by coronavirus. In November of 2019, the Purebright Institute, funded by Bill Gates, was granted European patent number EP3172319B1 for a coronavirus vaccine that may be used to treat humans.
Do you not see what's going on? I mean, help me understand. Help me understand. All right, you know what? I'm done for tonight. That's all that I have for tonight. Listen, all I would like for you to do is to go ahead and click that subscribe button to the channel, Mount Carmel Ministries. Go ahead and click that subscribe button if you haven't done so already. And if you like the content, give it a thumbs up. Hit the like button for me, please. Meet me on Facebook, Instagram, and of course on YouTube. Thanks a lot for listening, guys. Peace out and good night.